Hello everybody, this is Kristy and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a pouch that could turn into a big pouch, or it can turn into a zipper pouch, or it can turn into a clutch pouch. You could do all sorts with it. Just a minute. About that was a parcel for my son. He gets them delivered to the house because he's away, and one time he had a parcel delivered and some little person decided to help himself to the parcel and stole it from him, so he was not happy. Anyway, let's get back to the important thing about stitching. So this is a pouch, and I have done, well, this is going to be a sort of a fold over pouch. So what this is part of what we call in the quilting world, excuse me, I just sort of lost my breath a bit, is a foundation piecing. So this is done by using a foundation piece. You don't have to use foundation piecing, but that means you have to cut out all the pieces and you don't get your points perfect either. So I designed this pattern, this size pattern myself, and I did the shapes myself. I got a little bit of help from a pattern I had by just figuring out where to put the numbers. So I've made this, and this is a little pocket there with green underneath. Now this is going to a special friend, which is her birthday very soon. And she's also going over to Roxy Creations workshop. And I'm designing this for her workshop, to take with her for her workshop, to put all those special things in. So I'll move this out the way. So this is the pattern that I've designed, and it's unfortunately it went into the printer. Now this is called foundation paper, and the paper's very thin. I've got it on normal paper, and I'll add this to my community's channel as a PDF for free. So this is what the difference is between this paper and this paper. So this paper's big, a little bit bigger, and this paper is shorter on the end. So when you draw it, you have to make sure you put in the right side, whereas I'll just put it together and show you what happened. About there. So it's just cut off that tiny little bit, but I'm not bothered because it was just, this is just an example, and I know what to do when doing this. So what all the quilters out there, if you obviously know about quilting, you'll know how to you have to add a quarter to the seam allowance, which is a ruler which is called add a quarter ruler. And what it is when you fold over the page, and then you put your ruler on, and it cuts down the edge of the thing and adds your quarter on before sewing it, and then you just sew straight down on the line. So that the idea of this is sewing on the line and then leaving a quarter inch on the other side, because you sort of do this upside down. So when this comes out, it comes out like this. This here is that pattern, but obviously when you turn the right sides over, the whole sheet becomes this side up, because you put your fabric on this side and you sew down on this side. There's lots of information out there on foundation piecing. Don't know if I'm the best person to explain it, because sometimes it can get a little bit difficult. I could do a video on it if you are interested in it, but at this point I just wanted to show you the project that I'm doing. But this is available for anybody that would like it, and you could potentially hand stitch the shapes. All you would have to do is cut out all the shapes and obviously number them, and then add an extra seam, and then you could hand stitch them all together. That would be a good idea as well. And then what I did was I added in a bit of trim to the piece before sewing it. This one was a little bit tricky, but I did actually, and then accidentally I didn't sew all the way down here. As you can see here, this part, let me see where I am. On this side, I didn't sew all the way down. I accidentally chopped it off when I turned this over like that to give my 1/4 inch seam, and then put it on and sewed. I accidentally chopped this part off because I didn't continue on the sew line down, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't look too bad. So like I said, I added the little bit of trim, and when you're finished, you put your oh, I thought it was, maybe I didn't maybe I didn't trim it all up. Oh no, because I had to add my seam allowance, that's right. So when you cut it out, you add your seam allowance on the square, like it's all sewn down. You just add your seam allowance to the edge to give you the seam allowance for when you sew it. You just got to be careful sometimes that you've got to do a little bit of a back stitch there, because it comes undone. You can see that it's coming undone. So I'll just get back onto the sewing machine and sew that. I didn't meet my seams here, but that doesn't matter. I can always trim that off if I want to, but also allow, see there's a little bit of paper there, also allow for extra in your fabric when you're sewing it. And this is great for using up all your scraps. As you can see, I've got all my tilde scraps here, and that's what I used for that. So I will definitely get back on the sewing machine, quickly sew that back down. I mean, I could do it by hand, but it's all sewn on the machine. And then you also press as you're going. So once you've sewn down, you fold. Once you've sewn down there, you fold that back over and you give it a bit of a press. That's why that's not pressing, because it's probably not straight there, but that's okay. Anyway. So what I'm going to finish off with is this is where you get your foundation papers, and I'm sure Carol, if you should, I don't think she would teach anymore because it looks a fairly old picture. You can go on the internet and have a look at all of her blocks, and these are all the different things that you can do with paper piecing with foundation paper, and it works really well when you need to meet up your points, because you're basically crossing over with your sewing machine from there to there. So, and on here I decided I wanted to split that, which is number 10. Obviously it's bound the wrong way, it's this way. So this is number 10. And I didn't want a big piece, so all I did was get a piece of fabric, join these two together, and then that became my one piece, because I didn't put a line in, and then I couldn't figure out, after I had already sewn it, you couldn't really fold over and do your line like that to add the fabric onto, so I decided just to add it. That's just another little trick you could do as well. If you wanted to chop this side as well, you would just make that piece one piece before you sew it on all of that one there. And the numbers mean that you go from here to here, so you sew down that line, fold it over, press, and then you fold that back over there. You get your add a quarter ruler, you give yourself a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, fold that back over, get your fabric, and it's always coming from the underneath side. That's why it's in reverse when you pull it out, because this is your sewing line on the top. Then you sew down there on that line, fold that back over so it fits that whole piece, so you just have a bit of a square like that, and then you fold that back over, do your 1/4 inch seam, fold that back over, add your piece there, and then that's the edge. So make sure you always have material over the edge of that to give you plenty of room to cut away. And then so I go down to this one down here, do the same, 5, 6 is here, and then we jump it over to 7 because we've sewn this one, this one, this one, and this one, so they're all joined together. So that needs to be your sew line for this piece, number 7. And then number 8, number 9, and number 10. Actually, it might be not 8 here and 9. It might be, maybe this is number 7 because this is going to be a bit difficult. So let me just change that around. I think this is number 7. Yes, because you want to sew. I will make sure that this is correct before I do the PDF. So I put number 7 as a question mark because we've sewn down there. We've sewn this piece on. No, I think that is right. That is number 7, and this is number 9. Anyway, I will make sure I get that right before I put the PDF up, because obviously I have sewn it here, which is here. Oops, no, not. It's this one here. Oh, see, it's back to front on the map, on the pattern. See, there's number 9, number 7, and number 8. So, yes, that is right, number 7. So because you sew all the way down that line, and then you put this one on, you put that one on, and then you come down and do this one. Okay, so I'm going to have this like this. And then I was thinking of putting in a bottom piece. And I'm going to have it as a hanging piece. I hope I've explained it. This is my first time explaining how to do a pattern. I've never done a pattern before, and it's a bit daunting. So what I want to do is have this as a bit of a flap, but have this as the bottom of the pouch. And then there are my side seams. I probably should have made this a little bit wider here. You can adjust that if you want to yourself. You could bring in your seam here and then just make new seams to join up that one seam down there. I think this is a little bit too thin for because now I've realized I'm going to be sewing down there, and it's just going to catch that little bit. I'm not even going to see that in there. So they're just little things that come about when you're making something new, but that's okay. Maybe or if I wanted to, I could just get another strip, and I could just add another strip onto that. Let me have a look and see. I could make it just that tiny little bit wider, couldn't I? So if I add a little strip, it's still going to close off that there. It's probably not the best place to put that. Maybe I might undo that bit. That's what I'll do. I'll just undo it. Take off this, because you're not going to see the yellow because it's too tiny. I'll just get back on my sewing machine and redo it. That's the beauty about making something yourself. You can change it however you need to. just take that off. I could probably put that in there, but maybe there's enough white on there already. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all I've got to do now is sew those two pieces together. Put that back down, turn that over there, sew that down there, and then that will become my piece like that. And then what I might do is just sew, if I wanted to, just pretend that's sewn down. What I might do is, there's that piece there, I think it's the same, yep. Find another piece that's not the same, and maybe I might just sew down there. Maybe that might be enough now that I can see the yellow. It might be enough for me not to worry about it. So, okay, let's get rid of that for now. So I've shown you that. I've shown you the piece. I wanted to do the back. So all I'm going to do now is get my piece of batting. You can use wadding, batting. You can just use other white piece of sheeting or another piece of fabric. So I usually figure out this first. So that is my front. There. And I've got to think about my back. I'll probably need to go and get another piece unless I turn it around this way. I don't think this is wide enough. No, not wide enough. I'm just thinking, do I just leave this with another piece of fabric over the top? This is not wide enough, I know. And then I just have that as the front, so it's not so bulky. It's going to be quite bulky. No, I think I like that idea. I will leave it like that. So what I might do is stitch down some pieces for the back. So the back's going to be, however, I'm just going to leave the raw edges and just place the fabrics over the top. Some of these fabrics won't be in there. Just trying to use up some of my scraps. Look, there's another yellow piece. Yep, just want to use up my scraps. Not really going anywhere at the moment with it. Just placing them down. I'm going to cut them because none of them are ripped. They're all been cut from a project I had been doing. There's another pink piece there. I'll just get all these scraps out. Look, there's another scrap. Most of these are strip pieces. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some what am I trying to say? You could add some of this underneath, but if you do that, you'll see the wadding. So you might want a piece of white fabric underneath. What have we got here? I know there's a piece here. I'm just going to put that over the top. Why not? I don't have to cut it then. That's better. I'm trying to put pieces in here that are a little bit symmetrical, so they fit, but they're oh, look at that, they're just in a little bit of a shape, a different shape. By the time I put it all down, oh look, there's a bit of green. She likes green. That piece there, haven't we? There, I've got that one. That can go in my other pile. There's a bit of that green that I used. Looks like a house, doesn't it? So I haven't got this. Got to make sure it's wide enough. So I need to be a lot wider. So maybe I'll come down the side there. Not going to see that, so I'll put that over the top. Make sure you cover up your edges and your seams. I don't know if this is going to work. We never know these things, if they work or they don't work. No. Well, this is a good piece. I'm going to go up there with that one. This one here. Sometimes they are a little bit too thick, so you just got to cut them, even though I didn't really want to do that. I did have to do it. So let me see where my bag is. Oh, thought I was getting there, but obviously not. This is a nice bit of, well, that's on that side. Maybe I can go there on that side. Do we want grey? No. Do we have this piece here? No. That's too close to that one. It's a bit more green. Maybe no, I'll leave that there. Looks different. Maybe I would chop. Do I chop that off, or do I just put that under there? that under there. I need something to go down that side. I've already got that piece. Forgot this bit of yellow. Maybe it's too busy. Do a bit of yellow at the top. Or maybe I do yellow at the bottom. Yeah, let's do yellow at the bottom. I probably shouldn't have chopped that. We can do this one at the top. Now I'm just placing them anywhere I feel like it. I've got these, but I think these are too much. Have I got this? No, let's have a bit of this. It's great using these pieces up because that means I don't feel guilty cutting up the fabric. Everything's going that way. I need a piece that goes this way. Nope, I liked it like that. It's amazing how you just change your mind and all of a sudden you can't put it back the way you had it. There. Right, where's my piece? Just about. Is my piece crooked? Oh no, it is crooked because it's going that way. I need to add my little piece back wherever that went. So just about there, a little bit on this side down here. I need a piece down here. Maybe I could put this down here. Yes, let's do that. Maybe I need a piece on that side. Here we go. This can come down slightly. I might leave that in there. Bit of selvage. Right, I am happy with that. Maybe this is too much. Too much. Let's find another piece. I didn't say I said I didn't do grey, but what does that look like? What does this one look like? Yes, let's put that one there. I don't know if I like that. It clashes with that one too much. They're both the same there, aren't they? It's going to happen that side anyway. Let's cut some of this off. Too much fabric underneath. I need a tiny little piece for that. Yellow, green, I've got aqua. Oops, that's showing there. Just cut that off. I can never get this right. Maybe there's another piece. Just bring that down a little bit. You can come down. You can come down. That's better. There we go. I want to see a bit more of that yellow. When you think you're finished, you're not. Right. No. Do I have that little bit of a square in there? No. Have I got this? Hello, and I'm back from finishing off this beautiful bag for my friend Michelle. Now I will go through it with you because I just didn't have time to come in here and film all the little bits. So I'll just sit down in my chair. Hopefully I won't wiggle the table. So in the beginning we started off with the pattern, and then I foundation pieced the actual piece, which is this bit here. And then what I did was I went in and backed it with wadding, and then I did the back. So the back panel is larger than the front, so the front folds over like that. And so I stitched all that down. Some of the little bit of stitching here is coming undone, so I've got to make sure that when I fold it over and cross the pieces over, that there's enough room, because this little bit here I might just have to put a bit of a running stitch across the top, which you can do even though it's all stitched down, because you've got the wadding in the middle of the lining and the back piece. And then I decided to put a piece of this here, the same as the front, because I laid it all down and there was a little bit missing, and I thought, oh, I'll put some green and a little bit of that white to take. And see, that little bit's coming undone. That's because it's just, I need to get in there, and I'll just do a little bit of stitching. That piece is all right because that's on the edge, but this piece didn't get caught in the seam. And so I made a boxed pouch, box bottom, which is that little bit there. See, all those bits are coming out because they probably didn't, they got cut off, and I'll have to just go back and sew them in. So when you shape your bag, they get all cut off and then they just do whatever they want to do. So I lined it with, oh, there's a pin there. I lined it with some spotty fabric, which is a new fabric. All these fabrics on here I've used are Tilda fabrics from the range from years ago. Some are old, some aren't, oh, they're new, but they're not recently new. And so I had this trim here, and this trim was hanging all the way down. Excuse me, it's a bit early. And when I made the box bottom, it hung down like a skirt, and it just didn't, it looked weird. So I had to figure out how to do something with it because I had already sewn it in. So I just folded it up and then folded it down. And I had some lace under there, so the lace is just sticking out the top, which is fine. So now it sits down really well. And I found a lovely green button, and I've just got to put a closure, so that folds over there like that. It's a little bit loose with the lining. You could go along and just tack some stitches in there to hold the lining down. The lining does come out from the bottom, but then I've sewn the button on. So it doesn't always doesn't completely come out. I have machine stitched down the edges and down the bottom and the box bottom, but I've hand stitched everything else. So I've just got to find a closure for the bag, and I had some green rick-rack, and I just don't know whether it will work, because unless I just do one piece and then just let me see how I can do this. Just get a pin. I suppose that could hold. I could always just leave it, and Michelle can put her own, I might just leave it, and Michelle can put her own clasp on. She might want a ribbon or something. So I'm just got my timer on. I don't know where my timer is. Oh, I forgot to put it on, didn't I? Let me put the timer on, because I have I've got to get ready. This morning I'm going out with Michelle for her birthday. It's coming up, and I wanted to get this finished. So it's up till, who knows what time I was up till last night. So, I've actually measured that quite well. And down the bottom. So I'm really happy with this. I've made this for her to take away to her Roxy Journal of Stitchy retreat. So I still want to put this on, I think. Unless I've got other, just a minute. Nana's rick-rack, that would do really well. I just don't know if I have any more, because that's Christine's rick-rack from her Nana, and I did use a piece last time. Got green felt ribbon. I don't think that's going to work. I'm just having a look at the fabric. I don't think be able to use that rip rack. Just have a quick look in my bag. Nope. I want to keep that for myself. So let's have a quick look in here. Oh, there's some better rickrack there. What about that one? Yeah, I think that will do. So I'll just sew that on. I'm just going to cut a piece that long. I had some green cotton. I don't know where it's gone. I've got this one. This will do. Actually, not very dark. This one will do. Hope my timer's still going. Oh, yep. Oh, I don't know, something's going on with my phone. Right, I'll just tie a quick knot. So I fold that down, and I probably want it right there in the middle, and I'll fold that over to make it look neat. Now this will be, I'll make up a PDF file and put in the, I'm not sure where it goes, but it goes in some tab in the YouTube channel, files maybe, I'm not sure. I'll let you know in the bottom. I'll let you know in the bottom, in the description below, where to find the file. Now anybody could do this, whether you have a sewing machine or not. You just have to adapt how to do it by hand. You could cut the pieces out, give yourself, don't forget to give yourself the seam allowance, join them all together, and then you could still have a crazy pouch. The cotton's just come out of my needle, as it always does. Yeah, so you could, by all means, hand stitch this. Ow. I hate that when that happens. The needle just decides to stick into my thumb. Whoops. Just want to make sure the top part of this gets sewn in. Oh no, I did that wrong, didn't I? Just a minute while I fix it up. I really love that button. I have a set of 4, I think, of those buttons, and I really love that button. Maybe I'll just do it like this. It's just a bit of fluff. that should be secure now. I'll just tie this off. A few stitches. Oops, there we go. Right, so obviously it wants to go this way, but you can do it this way. I'll leave that long, and what I might do is I've got some beads here. There's a lovely big bead there. Look at that. Bit too. That one. No. That's pretty. I just don't think it will fit through the button. No, not that one. No. Let's see if this will work. It's not going to work because it's just going to come out. Maybe I'll think of something. I need a hole. What's that there? No, doesn't have to be green, I suppose. No, it's not a very nice, the noise isn't very nice. Sorry about that. I've got to be careful I don't knock all the beads, so just let me put this on the floor. Actually, I'll put the lid on and put it back where it was. I think I've only got about 5 minutes to go. I could just sew that down there, couldn't I? Just let me get my, sorry this is not a very exciting video, but I had a lot of things to do before getting this out today. This is going to her today, and then she's going away for her birthday, and then she's going to Roxy Journal of Stitchery, and I won't be able to see her. Oh, what happened there? Oh, I put the wrong end in. One moment. That's better. Sometimes you just got to try and have patience when it comes to this sort of thing. Because I find the more you rush, the more things go wrong. It's acting a bit fluffy. So I'll just do an overstitch. It's not playing the game. There we go. I think I needed to come down a little bit more. It's not the ideal way of putting a button in, but I really wanted that button. So you guys, you've got to improvise and make it work. So today is Friday, and I should get this video out over the weekend because I've got to give her the video. Got to give it to her. So I'm going to move that out the way so I don't cut it, but I'm going to cut these fluffy bits off. Hopefully my timer, it's got 2 minutes to go, so that's good because I'll be finished. A little bit more and then tie a knot. I'll just tie another knot. Oh, I didn't mean to pull that. All right, so that can be as long, because it might be a bit fat, so she might not want to, you know, close it up. It needs to be opened a bit more. So we'll close that off, and you can dangle it down. And this is the pattern for the crazy patchwork pouch. That's what I'm going to call it. So I'm going to write that down here, and I will fix up this here, make sure that this is correct. Crazy patchwork pouch, and I'll add that to the description below, and I'll make sure that the instructions are there, and I will type them out and put them in the description below. And so I want to thank you very much for watching my video. I have about 30 seconds to go, so that's good. And I hope you liked the pouch with new fabric, well, recent fabrics and some embellishments. You can either add that to the seams, or you can add that afterwards. Thinking also I might put a big doily on the back, but I'm just going to leave that for now because I need to get myself organized. And I want to thank you very much for all the lovely subscribers, and thank you for watching my video. I've come back on here to make a new pattern printout for the crazy patchwork pouch, and I've redone the old one. Had the one that I just showed you before had this down there, and it just didn't work somehow, so I decided to just put the line down there, and there's your 1/4 inch seam all the way around. So when you do it, make sure that you add, when you do these edges, make sure that you have enough piecing to go over the edge. And this is it made up now. So that's it there. But oh, is it the wrong way around? Oh, it will be the wrong way around, I beg your pardon, because that will be it under there, and then when you flip it over, it'll be the reverse. So keep that in mind when you're making yours. If you wanted to do this particular way, you'd have to you'd have to make it again on this side, draw another print on this side, and then have your fabric under there for the foundation piecing, and sew on the top if you wanted it to be this shape, because foundation piecing comes out on the reverse side of your pattern. So, And then this is the paper. See, there's I tried to fix it up here, but it didn't work. So then I just decided to put the line down there, and it worked fine. And I had to add the extra because my photocopier printer cut off the edge. So be mindful of that when you print it out. You can print it on normal paper and that's it there, but when you do it, make sure you put your seam allowance on a bigger stitch, so because a bigger stitch, because it will rip the paper better. Or is it a smaller stitch? It might be a smaller stitch, but when you have this proper foundation piece of paper, you can see that it rips quite easily, no problems. And so that's what you do in the end. And there's your seam allowance, which you do that when you cut it before you sew. I did try and make instructions on how to do foundation piecing, but I don't think it was very good. So if anybody was interested in, I could do an actual demonstration of the video. Now this one here, I didn't cut my seam allowance back, as I showed on you on the other video as well, but that's fine. It doesn't actually matter. It doesn't interfere with the whole pattern. So the idea is when you use the thinner paper, you get to rip it completely out. And when you do that, it makes it a lot easier. But I have used paper. You've just got to be careful. And if you do a mistake and you unpick it, then get some clear, the sticky tape that is a bit cloudy, a Scotch tape, that's what it's called. So you get your Scotch tape and you do that. I'll take the paper out. Sometimes if the paper doesn't come out of the corners, it's not a drama. And there we have it. There's you can have it any which way you like. Actually, that probably is the right way there. Is it? Oh no, it's upside down. That's number 5 and there's number 5 there. Yeah, just it looks like 8 and 9 are the same, nearly the same. But you could adapt to that yourself. You could change the points into a different direction if you wanted to. If you felt like you wanted this to be a whole big piece, then you would just come straight across the top there and get rid of that. And then that would be just one big piece. Okay, so that's the end of that, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy making what you do.